Hi everyone, Ainsley here from Small Fry Creations, where we tackle everything DIY, and this week I'm going to show you how you can secure anything into hollow brick using a special chemical. So let's roll the intro and get to work. Today's project is a little bit different to what you're used to seeing on my channel, because normally I am doing project-based work, but today I'm going to solve a problem that I have had for years, and I think there's probably others out there that have got the same issue. This is my Hoselink hose, and as a side note, they are awesome hoses, but the issue that I have is with the bracket and securing it into the wall. Like so many Australian houses, especially the new ones, mine is built with hollow brick, and trying to anchor into hollow brick when you're holding such a heavy hose can be a challenge. And over time, the bracket has started to fall off the wall, and any minute now this hose is going to come crashing down, and today I want to solve that issue. Now normally you could try and use like a Dynabolt or something like that, but going into hollow brick, that can cause some issues. The next problem that I have is the problem that I came up against. I wanted to use RAMSET Chemical set, which is purpose built for going into hollow brick, but the issue is that those nuts that come with it don't fit in these brackets, or I can't get a socket in there to tighten it down, and that's where I ran into so many problems. But I've come up with a solution, because you can get these galvanized couplers. They're like nuts that are extended, and that will give me enough perch to be able to use the correct socket to tighten it down. And today I'm going to show you how you can secure into hollow brick. The first thing we need to do is get this current Hoselink off the wall, and then we can talk about how we're going to do it. I've taken the hose off the wall, but I just want to quickly run you through why these anchors don't work over time, or why they're not working for me. Going into the hollow brick, the anchor just has so much room to move, and over time the bottom of the anchor will crack, and then it causes it to come out of the wall, and you're holding up a large amount of weight. It's a 30mm hose reel. With you retracting it, pulling it in and out over time, it's only likely that these anchors will snap, and that's why we're in the position that we're in today. Now, in order for me to come up with a solution, I have to be able to use the same holes or larger, otherwise I'm going to have to move the hose, which I don't want to do. The RAMSET Chemical application works on a 16mm hole, so that's perfect because these are 10mm and I can enlarge it to the 16mm. Now to do that, going into the brickwork, you're going to need a hammer drill, like I've got here, with a 16mm masonry drill bit, which is purpose designed to go into brick. If you haven't got one of these, you could probably hire or borrow one from a friend. Some regular home drills have a hammer function. If so, you could also use that. You're only drilling a couple of holes, it'll get the job done. So I'm going to go ahead and get these enlarged, and then we can talk about the plugs that will go in there and the chemical that is going to solve, hopefully, all of my problems. All right, I've got my holes drilled to the 16mm, and I've cleaned them out with a little brush just to get rid of any debris. These are the anchors that we're going to use, and they're specially formulated to take the chemical that we're going to be pumping into the hole next. And this will fill up behind the hollow brick and give it some, almost turn it into a solid brick, really, if that's how we common sensely think about it. And that way then when I put the anchors in, that's not going to go anywhere, and then we can bolt in from there, and hopefully our problems will be solved. So we'll go ahead, hammer these into place, and then we can get the chemical in, and then we can talk about how we're going to do it. Now I must apologise because I forgot to press record on the camera for the hammering of the anchors. However, it's very simple, just simply push or hammer them into the drilled holes. Once the anchors were in place, it was time to load the caulking gun up with chemical. On some scrap wood or cardboard, you need to squeeze the chemical out until one consistent colour, and then you're set to go. Once the chemical is in, you can close off the anchor and insert the bolt. The bolts have a break in the thread, which is where you need to push the bolt into and leave the rest exposed so you can screw the nut on later. The chemical sets in 5 minutes, and you can load weight onto it after 40 minutes, which helps move the project along. I'll be sure to leave links below to all the products you see me using in the event you want to tackle a similar project. All right, now we have to wait an hour for the chemical to set. It does say not to load any weight onto it, but this bracket doesn't really weigh anything. And because I'm trying to line up 4 bolts. There's a little bit of movement in the threaded rod, so I wanted to be able to get the bracket on in case I needed to move the threaded rod a mil or two. It is way easier to do it now because once this chemical sets, it's so hard, there's not a chance you're going to be moving it. So we'll wait an hour, which is going to be like a second for you guys, and then we can come back and put on the nuts and then put hopefully the hose back on and never have to worry about this problem again. The hour is all up, so it's now time to put the nuts on, and this was the stopping point for so long for me to not do this project because I couldn't solve this problem. But before we go ahead, let me just point out, this is the chemical on the wasteboard. It is rock hard, so when I said it was going to turn into like a solid brick, it has definitely done that. I don't think this is coming out of the wall anytime soon. Now when it comes to the nuts, this is the nut that comes with it, which is just a standard M8 nut that comes with the threaded rod. The problem is that I cannot get that into the bracket with my socket set in there because the 13mm socket that is required for an M8 bolt will not fit in this hole, so I cannot tighten it down, which was the stopping point for such a long time. Then I came across these M8 coupler nuts, and these will do the trick because these will thread onto the threaded rod, but it will also stick out far enough that I can get the socket on, and the socket doesn't need to go into the actual bracket, and I can tighten it down and secure it to the wall. So this is the solution to my problem. So I'm going to go ahead, I will use the washers that came with the set because there's nothing wrong with those, and then I'll use these M8 coupler nuts to actually secure it to the wall, and then the last step is to actually put the hose on and test this thing out. There you have it, the hose is all connected and this thing is solid as a rock. It's not going anywhere. It's so much better than the way that it was installed before. Yes, I did install a brand new Hoselink. That's because the hose that was on here before was broken, and that's what really prompted the starting of the research and working out how to properly secure into hollow brick. So I hope you have found this video helpful. I think it's going to be helpful for not only if you're attaching a hose like I am here, but if you are using that RAMSET Chemical and you can't use the nut that it comes with, knowing that these M8 coupler nuts exist, because I didn't know before starting this project, I think could be helpful for a lot of people in the future. So I hope you have liked this video and found it helpful. If you have, help me out by hitting those subscribe and like buttons, and I'll see you on the next one.